There appears to be a chance for a junior middleweight fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Sebastian Fundora, scheduled for October. But there's a sentiment that Spence versus Fundora is a dangerous matchup for the truth. Let's talk about it. Errol Spence Jr. is looking to possibly return to the ring in October against WBC junior middleweight champion Sebastian Fundora. This will be Spence's first return to the ring since his July 2023 fight for undisputed at welterweight against Terrence Bud Crawford. There are many people who think that this fight is a dangerous fight for Spence, and there are those who are even closer to the sport, like one of the men from Crawford's camp, Bernie the Boxer Davies, who predicts that Fundora will stop Spence Jr. and send him into retirement when they face one another. In the article written by Chris Williams, Bernie says that Fundora, who's now 21-1 with 1 draw and 13 KOs, beat a bigger puncher than Spence, and 28-1 is Spence's record with 22 KOs when he defeated Tim Tszyu last March. He feels that Spence won't be able to find the same success at 154 that he did when he was at welterweight. That's open for conjecture. Spence was always a bigger man at welterweight, but dropped down to make the weight to become a world champion. But he has fought at higher weights prior to becoming the welterweight champion of the world. I believe that one of his biggest drawbacks will be his inactivity, outside of trying to still overcome the accident that he had several years ago. Spence is getting older now. He's coming out of a prime age. Moving up could serve him well. It could put him in a position to be better health-wise at a higher weight. But Fundora is a different sort of challenge. A fighter who was very adept at fighting on the inside, which Spence likes to try to do with most of his opponents. But the Tim Tszyu fight finally convinced, or let's say the circumstances of the Tszyu fight finally convinced Fundora to do something that his trainers have been trying to get him to do for a while, and that is to box from range and distance. And seeing that he had quite a bit of success, he is now more confident to do so. And that will be where he can catch Errol in a situation where Errol may not find a comfort zone. If Errol can't be effective from the outside, he's going to try to bore his way in, and on the inside is where Fundora's greatest strength is. Even though Fundora happens to be 6'6", he's amazingly talented at fighting on the inside. When he was trying to go inside on Terrence Crawford, Spence found that he couldn't over power or use strength against Terrence Crawford, and that was a drawback for him. There was no safe place for him, and Crawford's sharp counterpunching ability was able to take Spence apart. Will this be something that Fundora can exploit as well? It usually can be exploited due to the lack of fights he's had recently. The long spells of inactivity, you lose your sharpness, and he's going to have to be sharp against Sebastian Fundora. Spence is definitely a game former champion who will come and rise to the challenge, but will he be able to overcome? I would like to see him overcome. I would like to see him get back on the winning track, but this is one heck of a fight to have to come back to overcome the loss that he had to Terrence Crawford. I'm pulling for Spence, but I'm not so certain that he's going to be successful in this endeavor. I would have loved to have seen him fight at least 2 fights before trying to fight for a world title again. I understand the business of boxing, and it's not often pleasant, but this is a do or die type situation. The WBC willingly made Spence a challenger for Fundora's WBC title. They must have a great relationship, but I'm not certain. The timing is on point for this. Spence is still a top fighter, but he needs to get back into the mix. Too much ring inactivity and the loss that he suffered against Crawford. He needs a chance to rebuild the confidence. I understand there may be some changes behind the scenes as far as his training and who may be training him. Fundora is going to enjoy the successes of becoming a new world champion. Both he and his sister now are champions in professional boxing. And once you become a world champion, it boosts you. It usually gives you a minimum of like 10% confidence in your abilities, and you go out and fight like you have spirit and something to defend. I really look forward to seeing what happens here. It's a David and Goliath matchup once again. Pretty much at that weight class, everyone that Fundora fights will find themselves in that type of situation, and this will be the same. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think about Spence challenging Sebastian Fundora, WBC Junior Middleweight Championship. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.